Here we go.
All right. Cafe being taken out. Chalet, Bank, Coast, Clubhouse, Villa.
Oh my god. 3 Oregons in a row. Okay. I see how it is. It's Playday 1. To be fair, it's Playday 1. It is Playday 1. So, people do want to go to these even Stevens maps. They want to go to where it's a nice balanced playing field and they can go in and just do their thing. I think later on in the season is when we're going to start seeing some of these spicier map picks, I'll say. I want to see Coastline in the late season. I know we're going to get Coastline in the late season, especially when some of these games come up. I am very much expecting Coastline picks to come through, and if they don't, I'm going to throw my hat out the window because I'll be disappointed. But no, I do think that's going to happen. So,
wait, what hat?
it's so in the tale of the Emperor's New Clothes.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like you can't see my hat.
Okay.
It's Schrodinger's hat. It's both there and not there at the same time. Okay, like.
I get you. All right. I mean, I almost left just then after seeing the Oregon one because, that being said, they have delivered. They've been really exciting games to cast. Just like seeing a little more variety, but this is what happens when you get best of one. Some teams just play it safe. What I'm looking for is when a team goes, no, we're going to ban Oregon. We're going to ban Clubhouse. We're going to ban whatever your last favorite map is. And we're going to force you onto something you are completely uncomfortable with. That's what I'm waiting for a team to do that. Where they really start punishing other teams' map pools. But not today, unfortunately. But we have got Oregon, which can deliver. Lost Souls versus RANDYS. Both teams that, looking on the qualifiers, seemed similar results that they were putting up. Of course, there might have been some roster changes between then and now. So that might throw a bit of a spanner in the works, but I think for both these teams, it should be pretty even matchup in theory, though.
Absolutely, and for the fourth time in a row, Novi, we're seeing the Thatcher and Flores completely taken off the board. Again, people really don't like these utility clears on the attack. They want to have that utility on the defense. They want to remain protected and secure. The classic mirror ban. Let's see where this final ban's going to go. Maybe a cheeky little bit of Kaid, but at the same time, Lost Souls starting on defense themselves, potentially shooting yourselves in the foot. So let's see what they decide on. Drum roll, please.
Yes, Kaid.
So very odd. Interesting. So they're choosing not to use that themselves. They don't really want to have to deal with that. They want to go with that more. I suppose I'd consider it static. Breach denial, your mutes, your bandits, things like that. Things that can be shot vertically if you need to. We did see that in the last game as well. People going underneath, places like that main wall into games from the closet. You can just shoot things out from below in Classroom. So that's the really nice thing about this map. There's so much flexibility when it comes to that hard breach and that support setup.
Thunderbird again. I'm not going to get 6 pinged off. The Nomad going for the Mav. I like that. I rate very highly. I think Mav is very, very useful on this map. The Ace getting picked up for Amy Lee. I feel like since the sort of nerfs to Ace, the removal of the smokes and everything, there might seem a little more in favor, but still Ace has a great gun. Can certainly make it work, and if Amy Lee's feeling confident, you can certainly kind of entry with that weapon.
Yeah, absolutely. We even saw, last game we saw AJ on the Ace, which, significant gunner on the hard breach utility. Do you know what? I think 9 times out of 10, you want your more gunner players, to be honest, on the support, and I know that's a bit of a weird paradox that some people perhaps find a little bit peculiar because they always assume that the gunners seem to be the entries, but if you've got that strong backbone there, it doesn't matter what happens. As long as you've got that strong backbone, you can pick up the pieces if everything goes terribly, terribly, terribly wrong.
Gives you that contingency plan, safety net.
Exactly, safety net.
Absolutely. Now, RANDYS, let's see what kind of approach we're going to see. Seen a lot of teams, regardless, favor big tower or going small tower. Just straightforward every single round, getting that control. So we've seen sort of 2 different approaches, but most of the teams go for the same one over and over again, rinse and repeat. Here we're seeing a little bit more of a split push, starting with Attic, as well as getting control over onto the master bedroom. Again, mixed success with this strategy. Attic has certainly been a point of contention between all the teams we've seen today.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, thus far, it's not really being contested too aggressively by the defense, though. And there we go, nice and open. Gonna start to see this approach through the Attic. They've started to get this other side open as well, so a lot of pressure now being applied by RANDYS. Amy getting the opening pick here onto Drake.
Ooh, Lua had the lineup. Was expecting the crouch peek, not the full-on standing swing. Schnatty going down. The Thunderbird gadget healing her back up, but Maggie just going to come screaming on in through Attic, and now Schnatty's being endangered from pretty much every single angle. Try picks up another, and this is looking like a clean sweep for Randy. Swinging around this corner, they seem so confident on their fragging. And Lost Souls, living up to their name, just looking a little bit lost.
Well, never say never. Potentially something that can be done. A C4 going out is a little bit of a spicy attempt at making a play to try and get a bit more aggressive towards these super aggressive attackers, to be honest. And there we go. A flawless round for RANDYS for round number 1. And yeah, that was a pretty dominant approach.
I think that's... I mean, we've seen some rounds where teams have not got a kill, but I think that was our first flawless round of the season.
For this evening, yeah, I believe it was.
Yeah. So there we go. First one of the season by RANDYS. And look at that. That is, talk about teamwork. Every single player getting a frag. That's what you like to see. That is fantastic stuff. Lost Souls, though, need to step it up. Need to find that next level to their gameplay. Because otherwise, RANDYS, just their fragging just looks really, really clean.
I mean, it was only the first round. Perhaps Lost Souls, going into this, perhaps it's a little bit rocky. Perhaps they're like, oh, a little bit of nerves, and now it'll be over. They know what to expect now. They know the kind of aggression they're going to have to deal with. They know the clarity they're going to have to deal with. So they can react accordingly, you would assume. They have chosen to go up towards kids and dorms again, so perhaps we'll see a slightly different play style come through from them here.
Similar lineups, yeah. Seeing the Ella come through. Yena's using the Scorpion. I'd have liked to see the Titan Slayer shotgun. It is actually mental how much damage that gun does. It is. I do not understand. It's illegal how much damage. Honestly, like it shouldn't be allowed. Actually illegal. I hate it. I mean I love it, but I hate it at the same time. But Yena's opting for a Scorpion. The recoil on it really tricky from long range, but close range the fire rate is just, it's like a pocket SMG-11 with more rounds. It is absolutely brutal, and it might prove a bit of a surprise for RANDYS, walking into an Elo Grismont mine and getting concussed and then seeing a Scorpion just like around the corner, just like completely spraying them down.
I mean, one would assume that there's going to be a little bit of drone work underway to let them know the location of the player in the closet space. I think they're more concerned at the moment about that utility in the trophy room. Well, Lua's definitely going to know that Meep is there now, because obviously that shotgun to the face onto Amy Lee. Oh, beautiful crossfire there. Yena's going to pop up from behind the shield and take down Lua before she can cause any damage to these defenders. So far, a very strong defense from Lost Souls. They've got this nice little setup here, and it's working beautifully for them.
Yeah, very standard. Using the deployable shield and the trophy just causes more issues. It's not cleared out. That was very brave by Meep, but actually the timing is bang on. He's gotten out of that position into a new one, and maybe we're going to see a flawless round go the other way. Lost Souls. Oh, Drake goes down. Kurgan. Oh, a double kill for Kurgan. That's nicely done. But still more kills to be found. Tries on the other side. they're not in a position where they can particularly help each other. And also the goo mines are right in front of her. She's got to be really, really careful. Somehow avoids them. What? What?
I also really appreciate the fact that Yenna decided to change the placement of some of that shield utility as well. I think it's really important when teams do things like that, when they adapt to where this approach is going to come from and they change their utility positioning accordingly. So we're left down to Tribalan now, who is here on the Ayana, diffuser in hand. It is a 1v3. All to play for, though. There we are. Yenna's going to finish it off. And that is our souls getting around themselves.
Just the clip. All right. I back the Scorpion pick over the shotgun. I respect it. Certainly made it work. Yenna really performing. And now Lost Souls bounce back. Maybe, like you said, it was just going in a little bit cold, maybe not fully warmed up. And after that first round, the nerves settle, and they're like, okay, we're gonna deliver the business. And that's certainly what they did. Showed up in style. Randy's got shut out. There was a chance there, maybe this too disconnected to try and recover the round. Unfortunate stuff. And now we're going down to the basement. We're doing a little bit of laundry, getting some supplies. And there's been a slight switch up on the defensive line as well. The smoke coming out, the Wamai as well. So we've got double anti-utility.
I mean, you expect to see some of this utility, but at the same time, it's the Ella that's making me kind of not giggle a bit, but it's standing out the most to me, because a lot of the time when you see the Ella, yes, you could argue it's for that shield utility, but a lot of the time it's a nice comfort pick for people. A very nice comfort pick. We've seen this in a few other tournaments that we work together, Novi, where people will just bring the Ella because it is, very, very comfortable, nice bit of shield for them. Yes, the utility is also quite good. That concussion is very powerful, very, very strong. It does catch you off guard if you're an attacker and you can't quite clear it or you don't spot it out in time. And often, as soon as they hear that little audio cue, they will swing out on you.
Punish you for it.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be very, very careful. And that's one of the things I feel like a lot of teams, even when they see the Ella, they don't really take into account and think, where will those Grismot mines be? Because it's not like our Vorda utility, it's not something you really fear, it's not something that you run down the list in, but it's something that can completely annihilate your plan if you're not careful with it. You go for the push, you get all the execute ready, you throw in your utility, you walk through and bang, you're all concussed and can't see anything. And Magna actually being thrown out should reveal where the Wamai is for Tribatum. Just holding the angle though. No support from Lua, who has to be careful from pillars. So you can see the pings going out on some of the utilities so they know what to clear. It's still very, very tricky. They're taking their time, droning in. And this is exactly why the Iana comes in handy. But that's a little bit annoying to lose one of those Selma charges.
Absolutely, these are the kind of moments where you do need that Iana utility as well to maybe even drone out part of that setup around the blue area, work out what you're working with and try and get rid of it the best you can. Bit of a standstill right now. Lua's still trying to apply that pressure on the tower stairs, and again, look at all this utility now coming through here as they try and make their approach to blue. But
oh no! The last Selma charge. I don't know. They don't have another way of opening that up. That's completely just decimated their plans. The Wamai pick is just 600 IQ, and Randy's, their push has been completely stalled, but they still got that fragging potential. Maggie is making her way down the stairs.
Yep, we're going to see the last Selma get used there into electric, and this pressure is it's just going to have to come from pillars mostly. Yeah. Unless, realistically, if I was Lost Souls right now, this is a moment where I would try and rotate and reinforce up that wall behind that is left. And oh, so close. Amy Lee is going to fall there. Very, very aggressive push through the blue, coming through there. Drake finishing her off with a nice little Toxic Babe and also a shotgun taking down Maggie as well. Kerrigan's going to take down Shnatty, however, in retaliation, but it is a 1v3. This is the moment where you hold the angles and you have that tactical timeout. Although she's actually going to try and get bolty with it, Novi.
10 seconds.
Going aggressive, I mean, you may as well. You've got 10 seconds left. That's one. I don't think she quite knew that she downed Yenna. Ah, that's unfortunate stuff because that completely halted the push.
Operators, you have run out
I mean,
of
it
time.
was a long shot anyway. It was kind of a Hail Mary. But still a little bit annoying. Now, 1-2. Lost Souls, despite getting flawless rounded in the first. Bounced back in kind, looking very solid, very comfortable. We're going to go to a different site, though. Meeting Hall Kitchen. Are you happy now, Grace?
Yes. Yes, I am. No, I am. Yes. This is the best one. This is the best one. In order to get a lot of these executes down, there's way more map control that you need to get. As an example, if you decide to go for that rear stage take and plant, rear stage, you have to get attic control. And to get attic control, you presumably have to get, big tower control. You have to get kids control, dorms control, all of the control, Novi, all of the control. Whereas if it's dining kitchen, you literally just have to get small tower and showers. This one's a lot safer as defenders. There's way more map control that needs to be gained by RANDYS here, and it's going to be interesting to see how they choose to approach it themselves. Where they choose to make this approach from, presumably it would be from the top floor, clear that out, and then go for rear stage or even dining if you want to. But I think realistically the safest one is that nice, good old-fashioned rear stage plant.
10 seconds to insertion.
It's a really tricky one. Like you said, there's so many
5 seconds to go.
options for the attackers, but also, like you said, there's more control from the defense. Allows more possibility of rotates. You're not just leaving someone high and dry in small towers and be like, well, survive as long as you can. There's a lot more freedom, but that barricade into the meeting hall cuts off that rotation. Also cuts off the information for the defenders, anyone in meeting hall, to be able to contest through. Meepa is rotating around, trying to get close to site. I think Shnatty is on the bottom floor, potentially looking to come up wherever she may feel is the best place to approach. No, actually, she's on first floor. But top floor control has gone the way of RANDYS. They're going to make quick work of this. Just try and open it up as much as possible. But Maggie's going to meet resistance. The Nomad walking her way forward. Amy Lee goes incredibly low by Drake with the P10 Roni. The Aruni is backed off into the corner. This is very stressful position, but Lua goes contest, doesn't realize that Shnatty's there as well, and the plan has completely worked for Lost Souls. They've baited RANDYS into an engagement, managed to trade one. Now it's whether they can get out in time. I think the Aruni is stuck in that corner, but at least the Jaeger has some flexibility.
Absolutely, and again, this is the awkward part where you're left as a solo player on this win on very little health, especially when you are the one with the diffuser. Amy Lee is going to take down Shnatty. I think they are still aware of this player hiding in the corner. However, Drake is going to retaliate by taking down Tri-Baton. It is a 4v3 Novi. Maggie is coming to help pinch out Drake here on the Aruni. She takes it down, and there we are. Retaliation comes through immediately. Amy Lee can take that pick and also finish off the knife, but at the same time, you have lost players in order to gain that, and it's now a 3v2. And again, Amy Lee's on the tiniest bit of health. Blow on her and she'll fall over. Oh!
There we go. I mean, why blow on her when you can just, take her down with lead?
Little bit
The
naughty,
frost
that angle.
The Frost of Fairy just taps her down. Now Kurgan with the Zofia. That's going to reveal the position.
Located a bomb.
Going to see the legs of the Frost Fairy getting a little too aggressive. With 40 seconds, there's possibilities, but there's not much movement really to rotate around the map. There's a lot of unanswered questions on where the defenders remain. With 25 seconds. She's got to make a decision now. Got to go for it. Oh, the Sophia, the timing. Yeno got very lucky there. 15 seconds. Logan's just got to swing. Actually wins it out. This is potential here. The Sharia Gate reactivates at the worst possible time. Swings around the corner, but Yeno wins it with a headshot.
that was so close. That could have been quite nice, but no, ultimately gonna go in the favor of the defense yet again. This has been very strong from Lost Souls. I'm not gonna lie, this defense has been very strong and structured, and it's interesting because RANDYS came into this certainly looking like the dominating team, and it's kind of, they've lost that edge slightly.
It's almost like we talked about it, the confidence. It's kind of missing, to just run in and take these fights. Looks a little bit lost. Now, speaking of Lost Souls, look very comfortable. They're going up to dorms, sitting pretty. Same setup they had before. The Aruni, the Mutes, Yella, and of course, double anti-utility on Wamai and Jaeger. And of course, let's not forget the Sharia Gates on Aruni act as anti-utility as well. So really, you've got 3 ADSs. You've got all the magnets, plus the Sharia Gates. It is nigh on impossible to get some utility through. Even though they've only got 1 deployable shield, there's so much there to protect it.
Yeah, 100%, absolutely. Again, these walls are going to be nice and protected. I'm wondering where these aggressive holds are going to be held again, because obviously previously we saw some very aggressive plays within that closet area. I am expecting that RANDYS will be keeping their eyes out for things like that now. So it is kind of this idea again, like fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. I don't think they're going to fall for that again. They're going to be droning it out. They're going to be clearing everything.
Now, RANDYS, last time we saw them approach master bedroom side as well as attic, it looks like they're going for the same setup this time, but more pressure, I want to say, towards attic. Where on earth is the ace? Because Amy Lee's not in a position to help out with master bedroom. Oh no, she's on top of the roof droning, so she should be jumping down to help out. And that means they can start getting master bedroom. Lua's going to start applying the pressure onto Trophy, but she's got to wait for her teammates here. But the flashes, it makes it very tricky to just run in and gun it yourself. You've got to wait for that backup, the swing around the corner, but it doesn't quite hit. But at least gets rid of some of the utility. It's actually going to fall off the position. There's a full rotation round, and now they're all pretty much, apart from Lua, attacking from the north side.
So finally half the round gone. No casualties on either side just yet. Nearly a casualty there though, although I do think it was actually just the attacking utility, so never mind. They're gonna start making their approach towards this attic area. Love the fact that they're also checking the meeting as well. Plays definitely need to start being made. We're going to see Maggie on the window as well. That's going to potentially provide some very useful cover if they do decide that they want to get aggressive on that kid's window.
The attic control's gone over to RANDYS. Got big window as well. Oh, the pixel peak. Just not quite there. Maggie's going to get on the window. With a minute remaining, Nuke's just going to go, or try and go massive on the white stairs. And there's first blood. Fairy is the one to fall. The Wamai going down. Maggie makes an entrance. It's pinged from the window, but she can just back off and rotate from that position. There's plenty of time. And now they don't know if she's still holding the cross or if she's somewhere else. I'm not sure. I don't think she has... No, she has one grenade left that she's actually going to start cooking. Throws it out. That might just catch him. Shnatty, whoa, gets tagged down. Meat goes down as well with Lua. RANDYS is certainly making an entrance there. Swing on in. Yenna has to hold on for dear life. Drake only gets one. It's a 1-on-4. The Yenna has to do everything. But I don't think it's going to be enough. Not enough HP, not enough time. The pressure is not for you. It's peeking around the corner and the crossfire is too strong.
Crossfire, very strong. 3 different angles held. Beautiful work there. RANDYS pushing it closer towards their favor. If they can get one more round on the board, that's a nice even split to end their attacking half Novi. And again, it is still slightly defender-sided, so... Certainly now they're picking up the pace a little bit, but can they do it again? Again, we've seen them come into this very strong, and then they struggled a little bit for 3 rounds, and now they've got another one on the board. But would you consider that momentum gone, or is this going to be a little bit of a comeback now on their attack?
I feel if Randy's... I don't know. Lost Souls realistically should win this next round.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
I mean, almost definitely, because it is basement. They should be very, very comfortable in this hold. We are seeing the knock for Lua. And this is a pit that we've seen quite a few players actually pick it up. With the frag grenades, very, very strong. Just of how strong and, you know, powerful that piece of utility is. But also the ability that you can kind of play a little bit solo-ish. So as long as your team knows what you're doing and it's communicated across, they can play around that. And it can really cause issues. You can see when a team panics because they know Nook is approaching from behind. She's somewhere, but we don't know where. And you can just see the panic. Similar to when a team first sees a Monty or a Clash standing in front of them and they go, I can't do anything about this. The same thing with a Nook when you know she's coming, but you don't know where it is. It causes that stress and pressure for the defenders.
Absolutely, 100%. And again, some nice little secondary utility to clear some places out. Obviously, you factor in Flores being banned out. You do need some extra grenades on the board to help you clear some of that utility. So I like it. I to be honest, we don't see Nook enough in compare for what she does have the potential of doing.
Okay. Oh, Lua! What is that? There's no answer from Lost Souls. They can't do anything. Randy's has already got laundry control, and that's going to cause a huge problem. If Kogan could have got that kill onto Yenna, that would have been massive. The Mozzie is all the way in the corner. Oh, Maggie gets the headshot. Even with the default cam working against Allure, follows up into Drake. This is huge for Randy's. Lost Souls in an incredibly uncomfortable situation. And it looks like we're going to get a 3-3 half Schnatty. Last player remaining for Lost Souls is going to find the Nook, but at what cost? Position being revealed. Amy Lee steps out, and that's the round, a 3-3 split.
And a 3-3 split is really not bad going for your attacking half at all. And I think Randy's are going to be going into this defense feeling nice and warmed up. For Lost Souls, certainly being on attack, it's not quite ideal, but at the same time, considering how they played that defense, I do think that they're going to have a very structured attack and they're going to be able to approach this very coherently, very strongly. We'll see what happens. This could go all the way, Novi.
Could go, but I'm feeling that Randy's... I mean, they just beat them on Kids Dorms. They just beat them on Basement. There is a lot of momentum riding their way. And it's whether they can really ride that wave out. Very similar lineup for the attackers. We are seeing the Valkyrie, which I, of course, love to see. I'm begging for a team to use her Black Eyes outside and try and go for some runouts. I would love to see it, but we're yet to see a team really utilize her in that fashion.
I mean, I do feel like I don't think we'll see any plays like that for another I'd say 2 weeks, another 2 weeks. It's usually around that quarter midpoint where you start to see people, you know, they've got the feelers out and they're like, hey, we know roughly what everyone's kind of come in and what they're trying to do, and can we get away with doing this against our enemy right now? That's probably when we're going to start seeing things like that come through. We did just see Maggie throw a cam out though.
Ooh.
So potentially actually Novi. Okay, that'd be quite interesting if that does happen.
Will the faithful be rewarded? Please, come on, Maggie. Do it for me. Alright. Is she prepping a window? I'm not quite sure. We'll have to see where that cam is. There's no IQ, so probably difficult to read. No deployable shield, though, in trophy, so not as much of a pain as when Lost Souls, they themselves were holding, you know, trophy. They had the ADS, they had the deployable shield, but there was a lot of utility to be wasted. And they could, of course, play off that and just take gunfights, which they're very, very competent at. Randy's, though, I like to see that aggressive style carries through into their defense. They're not taking too many early trades, but they're at least contesting breaches, which is really nice to see. Whoa, Lua onto Shnati. Gonna back off just in time. And still the mute jammers haven't been taken out on that other wall, so difficult to cross over. Lua could potentially jump into the closet and then cause problems for Fairy, but Fairy is ready and waiting with the angle onto Trophy. But Lost Soul's been kind of stalled out. They've lost their Hibana. What else are they going to lose until they start to get something of their own?
Absolutely, and it's interesting because RANDYS really are fighting back now with a lot of aggression on their defensive, the defensive play. So it's really interesting to see, and I'm wondering if that aggression and that momentum is going to continue going forward. I think Drake very aware of Maggie on the roam here on that Valkyrie, but I'm not sure if she's. Oh, well, there we go.
Bomb located
Punished.
by attackers.
Drake must have had a flank drone to give that information. Maggie is going to fall as the first casualty for the side of RANDYS. But at least that utility is still on the board, though. Novi, those cams can still be used, and Maggie's going to be on them and pulling that info to her teammates. Kerrigan is going to take down Drake. So it's now left down to Meep, Yenna, and Fairy to try and make a play between the three of them. We're going to have this pressure from the north by Yenna and Meep, and then Fairy is going to keep applying pressure on this bedroom area. Although it does actually like she's going for a little bit of a rotate herself. So potentially we're about to see a one-dimensional attack once they gather and group up. But there's only 25 seconds on the clock. They really have to work out what they want to do and just go for it.
Meep is getting so fortunate with these crosses, but just can't quite close out some of his kills. There we go. It's a 2-for-2 trade. The Mozzie swings the wall. Sorry, swings the window and the wall. To the windows, to the walls. Fairy's gonna try and get the last one to drop dead to the floor. The try wins it out at range with P10. Roni, it's just a laser beam. Look at that. You just lay down suppressive fire, let your opponent walk into it, and not much you can do.
No, not much you can do at all. I will say that they did manage to do a fair bit of a cleanup, though. Especially considering how aggressive RANDYS were being in that first opening defensive round for them. They are going to go downstairs now. I'm wondering if that Thunderbird's actually going to be stuck, Novi.
Ooh. Well, I think we've seen one round where Thunderbirds had quite a severe impact due to the gadget. And in that case, that was a very entrenched position. I still think they ended up losing it as well. So it wasn't like they managed to win off the back of the operator. But we're seeing it swapped over to the cat cam for Maggie. Honestly, I don't mind the cat cam pick too much. I feel like there is better operators, but it's something that can catch people a little bit off guard, especially if you can run the clock down and sort of protect the entry denial devices, like their positioning, and not reveal where they are. It means that in the later rounds, when that timer is ticking down, suddenly you start panicking. You're like, I've just got to swing all these doors. Bang, you hit one trap. Bang, you hit another, and then you're down.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, they do a insane amount of damage when you consider things. 9 times out of 10, if you get caught off guard by one, and then the timer gets very much not in your favor, it can pressure people to make sloppy mistakes, and then they get finished off by the second.
And it's also 5 sound cues. Even if they don't even go off, that's 5 bits of utility that need to be shot out or whatever, or cleared. And that's bit of, you can use it similar to how you would a goo mine or something like that, where not necessarily use it to actually cause any damage, but use it for sound cue, and then Cap can just swing around the corner. Plus the nitro cell in Maggie's pocket right now is going to pay dividends. Now Drake getting dining hall control. No drones going out for her though, so could have been punished, but getting maybe a little bit lucky here. Now RANDYS, they might have a rude awakening, as Sophia is going to get very, very close for comfort.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, again, there's, from what I can see, I'm not really sure where the drone work is coming through, but again, it's this idea of they're taking that map control and they're not being contested, but I would be slightly concerned about someone on the top floor coming down to flank me at any second.
backing off construction. I'm still trying to work out where the push is coming from. I think they're just really scared of this big tower control. They really want to get it. They've actually called the thermite round. Fairy's going to shoot a couple pot shots, and they're going to pull her around to try and open up the hatches. Okay, so that's the meeting hatch open. That's the first step. But this is a lot of time, and it's still not clear where the push is going to be coming from. They don't seem quite in the right positions yet. This could prove problematic later on into the round.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, there seems to be a lot of time being wasted just on the basis that I think they were expecting a bit more of an extended hold and an extended roam here. Oh, there we go. There's those Capcan traps. You really gotta mind those. Taking half the health of Drake on this Sophia. Now trying to get aggressive, but getting aggressive when you've just lost half your health is a bit of a risky task.
Okay, now at least opening up the wall, getting some lines of sight. Amy Lee will take first blood onto Schnatty. So that's the Jackal off the cards. Lost Souls making their way through. It's similar to Randy's, where they just sort of like walk in and try and make the play. Drake and Meek isn't going to have any of that. 15 seconds remaining. The diffuse is being stuck. It's a 3 for 3. I think it should go off without a hitch. And now the tables have turned. The shoes on the other foot now. Batten has to try and batten the hatches. Manages to stem the tide of Lost Souls with Meek going down. It's a 2-on-3. Fairy and Yenna are looking. Fairy gets one on the board, gets a second. That's huge, and a third. Fairy spins absolute magic.
I mean, you take those, don't you? You take those. But no, indeed, Lost Souls pulling that back into their favor, now evening it up to a nice 4-4 split. It's getting very, very competitive now, Novi. Very close to the nail. I don't know why they all came from the same angle then.
Yeah, it was it's a bit of a weird one. Also, the fact that the plant went off. Like, the push was coming in. They knew where it was coming from. So they should have realized as soon as they get control of the room, they're going to try and plant. There was no plant now available to them. Maybe the smoke just wasn't in the correct position for it.
They had,
I don't know. Randy's just missed one.
Yeah, they had utilities on the table. I just don't think they have the angles or intel to deal with that in the moment, because even there were C4s on the board that could have been used. But again, if you don't have that intel and you don't have the line of sight or even an angle to throw that utility, it's very difficult to combat something like that. They are choosing to go downstairs again, though. Maybe they're just kind of like, we can actually win this site, and we know we can win this site. We just have to batten down the hatches, as you eloquently put it.
5 seconds left.
Yep. Close everything. I mean, it worked for them. I would like to see a little more vertical pressure being applied by Randy's. They did... I want to say they did a good job, but it was more Lost Souls kind of like five-heading themselves by not checking things early on into the round and then going, wait, there could be someone in Big Tower. And then they sit there for 30 seconds trying to like postulate if there is someone in Big Towers. Something that Randy's could really take advantage of. Toxic Bay going out so early on. Drake is just going to have none of it. Just runs on in. Maggie will trade back onto Schnatty. But this is very interesting position, and without that reinforcement on, this is all open. The elbow is ready and waiting for a long angle. Drake's actually going to just take the time to swing and keep firing away, but it's going to cause problems for Randy's as now the site is split into two.
Absolutely, and split into two, and it's a 4v4. Both teams doing a relatively good job right now of minding themselves and holding these angles. That wall's going to get opened into electrical as well. Getting a little bit intense on both sides now, to be honest, Novi.
I like this from Randy's though. I was gonna say no one is really peeking. Like they're spraying things, but no one's peeking. And I really liked it from Randy's. They were just holding. Meat going too aggressive though, gets punished. But this time Drake wins out. I'm not sure what angle that was. If that was all the way across into Freezer, But now we're 3-on-3. No, it wasn't. So someone going a little too close for comfort and getting punished for it. Both players know exactly this lineups. And it's whoever misplays first or whoever lands the shot first. Both of the timings, they know exact positions. They know exactly what the other's thinking. So now they're waiting for the rest of the team to come round. They've got that angle. Yena is going to come storming in. So that's the site gone over. Got the frag grenades as well. Drake pulls out Kerrigan. That's a triple kill over to the Zofia player. Lost Souls is sticking the plant. Amy Lee's going to run in. The impact grenade isn't going to be enough to deny the plant. It's a 2-on-2. The table has flipped. 40 seconds going to come screaming around. Drake gets denied the complete ace, and now it's Fairy. Once more in a clutch situation, but Amy Lee wins it with a triple. And Randy's bounced back, but it was right so close down to the wire.
Yeah, it's getting way too close to comfort for them, I think. And I'm just kind of curious what they could maybe do differently right now. I mean, for the most part, it is just, again, it's another case where everything just seems to be coming back down to these gunfights. And of course, in Oregon, that is a very good sign because it is a very nicely balanced map, and it shows that these teams going up against each other, it is nice and balanced right now. And ultimately, only one person can come out on top on that gunfight.
Now, the dormitory is available for RANDYS, so they still get a very strong site for them to default back to. Basement definitely not working how they would have liked. The IQ, for the first time, bringing in as a response probably to that Valkyrie. First time we've seen her in 4 games. Maybe that'll be the key for Lost Souls, just to be a bit more consistent, where they can deny a bit more information from RANDYS.
I mean, you speak about denying information, but you know, RANDYS are bringing up the Mute, the Mozzie, then you've got the Valkyrie. There's a lot of counter intel and then intel utility in their own right there. Those frost mats as well, pog mats as we all affectionately call them. That's potentially going to catch a few people off guard depending on where they're positioned. 9 times out of 10.
10 seconds to insertion.
It's a good laugh, but sometimes people do expect them, especially if they're droning out ahead. But again, because you're losing potentially some of that drone utility to this intel denial, it could be quite a spicy one, Novi.
It's similar to the Capcom where frost mats are super telegraphed, right? No one should fall for it, but then the pog mats do. Like, it's just the pressure, the time, similar to Capcom. You think that's really easy, but then when there's about 10 other things you're trying to look out for, you're trying to communicate with your team's trying to communicate with you, you're trying to win those gunfights, jumping in through the window, last thing you think is to look down and shoot, and it just catches people off guard.
Going to start making their approach towards this bedroom area now. Again, a very standard approach. We're seeing some pressure from Big Tower. We're seeing some pressure from bedrooms. That nice 2-dimensional split that a lot of teams know and love. But at the same time, a lot of teams knowing and loving it, it means that RANDYS should be able to retaliate relatively well to it, and they should have their setup built around the idea that they will be approaching from these angles.
Oh, Schnatty! No. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Drake picked up 1. So that's Lost Souls taking first blood, and also Attic seems pretty uncontested as well, so Meek should be able to get that open. There's a player in basement for some reason. That might cause a little more confusion than, if anything, towards Lost Souls. Doesn't really help RANDYS out too much. That mute jam is going to help them out a little bit, but Attic control pretty much is over. They can just walk on in. It's whether they know that or not, or they try and use any utility towards it, but that's a nice angle by Maggie. Fantastic stuff on the Frost. Pulling her team level. If RANDYS win this, they are on map point. They have the freedom. Lost Souls, on the other hand, they want to win this. That means they're even on scoreline, and suddenly they've managed to beat RANDYS on every single bomb site. That is, just in theory, the strongest. You can see the Jackal ping going up, but no real capitalization off of it. 45 seconds with Schnatty finding another kill.
Yep, and you know, having the extra player count right now is certainly going to benefit them a bit. Ooh, Maggie and Amy Lee retaliating by taking down Drake and Schnatty themselves. Maggie's going to be traded out by Fairy, however, putting this back down to a 2v2. Fairy has the defuse and just has to try and go for a plant with Yenna covering the best that she can.
Oh no, Yenna going down. Finished off by the shotgun, 10 seconds. Fairy's got to find Amy Lee, but it's not enough. Randys move on to map points. And potentially, I mean, I don't think we'd call it an upset, but with how close this game has been going, Randy's kind of blowing it open, and Lost Souls just not quite. Every time they get close to potentially winning a round on their attack, they just get denied. They've only won one. And Randy's are sitting pretty, one map away from taking home that first win for them across this tournament.
Yeah, but and again, like it's really nice because I do think that, you know, we're seeing the roster on the side of Lost Souls where some of these players are relatively unfamiliar to me, and it's nice to see new faces, fresh blood, and it's nice to see them do well. And I do think they've really held their own against Randy's, who you know, that is a bit of a sweaty roster, to be honest. And it's been a very interesting Playday 1, certainly, from my perspective. And if Randy's take this right now, if I was Lost Souls, I would not feel bad about that, although I'd be like, yeah, we played really, really well. It was Playday 1, and let's see what we can do the rest of the season.
And I've honestly got a feel for Drake a little bit. I don't like, you know, talking about players like KD when they're having a bad game. I like to celebrate a bit more, but you've got to think of that feeling. You're 14-9, you're top of the table across the entire server, and you're just not able to convert rounds. It is a gut-wrenching feeling. And for the other players on the team, for Lost Souls, they must be feeling awful because they're like, oh, you know, our teammate, she's doing so well, and we're not able to match that level and help push us over the line for those round wins. They just need a little more sort of firepower sprinkled in amongst the other 4 in Lost Souls. And this roster could really, really push Randy's to overtime, but it's got to happen soon. There is not long left. This is potentially our final round of day 1.
Final round, but we can tell that's why Lost Souls are not taking any chances. Running down through base and even pre-firing into this freezer area, checking the hatches of all things as well to make sure that there's no disgusting flank setup, I suppose, or disgusting roam setup here. Schnatty immediately charging into Armory to start applying pressure from this eastern side of the map as well. It's a very swift approach towards the top floor. They need to clear these players that might be lurking around, kids and bunks as well, so they can take that map control and then start applying pressure vertically. But, well, pressure from an SMG-11 as Lua is going to take down Yenna as the opening pick of this match point round, and that is for Jackal off the board, and that's a lot of intel utility taken away from the side of Lost Souls. Meep also taking a significant amount of damage, but Drake taking down Carol again there on the Jaeger, so a little bit of breathing room coming through.
But Meep is so low. It's like so low. Still has frag grenades, can still help out. Certainly can assist the team. I mean, they've got a lot of ground. They've got a lot of ground control. Look, this top floor is pretty much all theirs. They can start opening it up and having free range above. But Randy's is nice and sheltered all the way back. We were saying earlier, almost as a meme, like they're battling the hatches, they're turtling, they're diving undercover. But it's working for them, that yokai drone as well. That added threat of the plant denial. We've seen it on the bank being denied by a 1 versus 4 because of a singular yokai. Like, it can happen. They've got to consider the smoke. You know, the nitro cell still in play as well. There's so many things that they've got to consider, and they don't get a shift on soon. This could be disastrous. But Amy Lee has taken things into their own hands and takes down the top frag for Lost Souls. This could be it, Grace.
This could be it indeed. I mean, for those yokai, that's a bit of a BM taking a IQ's brain apart by blasting them with that little yokai drone. Maggie is going to get the pick onto Schnatty there to finish her off, as well as all left down to Fairy and the here on the Thermite and Sledge. Meep is going to take down Lua, though, opening a bit of breathing room here. They just have to push the kitchen, but Tribalance is going to have something to say about it. That Yokai drone is going to come through as well, and there we have it. There we have it, Novi. That's RANDYS winning this final map of Playday 1. Another 7-4 victory on the board this evening.
Yeah, it's kind of a theme. Every single time we think, oh, this is close, this could go to OT. No, 7-4. Maybe it's cursed. Maybe it's one of those things. It's like, genuinely, like, there's some regional habits which for some reason they always happen. There's like I can't remember the region, but there's this one thing where it's one map always goes OT every single time without fail. It's almost a meme at this point. Like, maybe 7-4 is just the ethereal scoreline we're always going to get. Who knows?
Maybe.
But I mean, fantastic. Honestly, a fantastic day of Siege. I mean, for me, this is a great intro into women's Rainbow Six Siege. It's been utterly fantastic.